From the very beginning, I always believed that childhood friendships were unbreakable. People change, life changes, but memories stay pure. Or so I thought. My story begins on a cold evening, the kind where silence feels heavy. I had just returned from work when my phone buzzed with a message that stopped me in my tracks. It was from Sarah, my childhood friend, the one I trusted more than anyone. The message wasn't sweet, wasn't warm. It was a screenshot of a conversation where she was mocking me with someone else, tearing apart my character like it was a joke to her. For a moment, I felt frozen. This was the girl who once held my hand when I cried after failing a school test. This was the girl who used to swear that no matter where life took us, we would stand beside each other. And now, she was making fun of my struggles, my dreams, the very life I was building. My mind kept repeating the same question. Why? What did I ever do to deserve this? I felt anger bubbling inside me, but deeper than that was a sense of disappointment so sharp it hurt. I didn't know it then, but this was only the first crack. There was more, much more. That message was just the opening door to a maze of lies, betrayal, and games she had been playing behind my back. And in that moment, as I stared at her cruel words, something inside me hardened. I realized I couldn't stay silent this time. This betrayal was different. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a mistake. It was intentional, and I was going to find out exactly why she did it. Growing up, Sarah wasn't just a friend, she was like a second heartbeat. Our homes were 2 streets apart, and somehow our lives always seemed connected. I still remember the dusty playground where we spent our evenings racing each other, arguing about who cheated, and laughing so loudly that the neighbors would scold us. She was competitive, fiery, and charming. Maybe that's why I admired her so much. She had this fearless energy, and I was the calm one between us. Our personalities balanced each other perfectly. When we moved to high school, we stayed close even though new faces came into our lives. She was the kind who attracted people effortlessly, and I never minded staying in the background. I trusted her blindly. Every secret, every fear, every little dream, I shared it all with her. When I told her about my goal to start my own small business someday, she was the first one to cheer for me, or at least, she pretended to. With time, our paths started to drift naturally. Different colleges, different routines, but friendship, I thought, didn't need daily conversations to survive. And for a long while, I truly believed our bond was still safe. Little did I know, time hadn't changed her, it had only sharpened something darker inside her. Looking back now, I can see signs I once ignored. Her jealousy when I achieved something, her backhanded compliments, the way she always wanted to be the center of everything. At the time, I brushed it all away, thinking, she's my friend, she would never hurt me. I didn't realize that some friendships don't break. Suddenly they rot slowly, silently, until one day you wake up and realize the person you trusted the most is the one holding the knife. The shift in her behavior wasn't sudden. It was like a slow-moving shadow creeping over our friendship. At first, it was small things. She stopped replying the way she used to. Her tone became colder, and the warmth in her voice disappeared. I convinced myself she was just busy, but then I began noticing something else. She would only call me when she wanted something. If I needed support or just a friend to talk to, she was always occupied. Yet whenever anything good happened in my life, she had an uncanny way of twisting it into something negative. When I told her about a promotion I worked months for, she laughed and said, they probably didn't have better options. The words stung, but I told myself she didn't mean it that way. But deep down, I knew something was off. The real alarm came when mutual friends started acting strange around me. Whispers, awkward smiles, sudden pauses when I entered the room. I felt like an outsider among people I had known for years. One day, a friend accidentally let something slip. She said, I hope things settle between you and Sarah. I heard what happened, but she refused to tell me more. That single sentence kept echoing in my mind. What did Sarah tell them? What lies had she spread? And why? I tried confronting Sarah indirectly, asking if something was wrong. She brushed it off with a fake laugh, saying, don't be dramatic, everything's fine. But her eyes told a different story. They held a mix of amusement and cruelty I had never seen before. That's when the truth slowly began forming in my mind. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't stress. This was a betrayal being crafted behind my back, carefully, strategically. Everything boiled over when my business idea finally started turning into reality. I had spent months building an online brand, working late nights, investing every bit of savings I had. It was the biggest dream of my life, and the moment I shared it with Sarah, her reaction was chilling. Instead of congratulating me, she smirked and said, "You really think this will work? Don't get your hopes too high." Her words hit me like a slap. That wasn't concern, that was envy trying to disguise itself. But again, I let it slide. I wished I hadn't. A few weeks later, something strange happened. Customers who were excited about my launch suddenly started backing out. Collaborators delayed meetings. Brands stopped responding. It made no sense. My work was solid. My marketing was clean. Yet things were falling apart right before the launch. Then, out of nowhere, I received a message from a girl I didn't know. She said she wanted to warn me about someone pretending to be close to me and bad-mouthing my work in private groups. When she named the person, my stomach dropped. It was Sarah. She had told people my business was unstable, that I didn't know what I was doing, that investing in me was risky. She poisoned the very path I had been building for months. That was the moment reality hit me hard. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a joke. She was deliberately trying to break my dreams. For the first time, I felt anger shaking through my entire body. She wasn't just betraying me, she was attacking my future, and that was unforgivable. The final confirmation came from the least expected place. One of her old school friends, Amina, reached out to me. She told me that Sarah often talked behind my back, twisting my struggles into entertainment. She mocked my hard work, exaggerated my mistakes, and even claimed I used her for connections. The worst part, she enjoyed doing it. Amina said, "She acts like she's competing with you. Everything you do, she takes personally." Hearing that made everything clear. The distance, the coldness, the lies, it all connected. Sarah had been building a false story about me for months, maybe even years, feeding it to people like poison. But why? Why would someone who shared my childhood turn into someone who wanted to destroy me? Amina's next words answered that. She hates that you're growing. She hates that you don't depend on her like before. And suddenly, everything clicked. Sarah wasn't losing me. She was losing control over me. She was losing the version of me who always listened, who always followed her lead, who always let her shine brighter. That night, I couldn't sleep. The betrayal felt like a heavy stone on my chest. I cried not because I was weak, but because I realized the girl I once called my best friend was nothing but a beautifully disguised threat. But crying wasn't going to fix anything, and I wasn't going to allow her to take away the future I had worked so hard for. I knew what I had to do next. I had to strike back, not with anger, not with shouting, but with intelligence, quiet, sharp, and unbelievably effective. The first rule of smart revenge is simple: don't react emotionally. And I followed that rule brutally well. I didn't confront her. I didn't send angry messages. I acted as if nothing had changed. Silence is powerful when your enemy expects chaos. My plan started with observation. I needed to understand her weaknesses, her motivations, her intentions. And trust me, when someone is driven by jealousy, their patterns are predictable. She wanted attention. I gave her none. She wanted me to fail. I worked harder. She wanted me to feel small. I grew bigger, but I still kept my real moves hidden. The second step was rebuilding my damaged network quietly. I reached out to every collaborator, every client, and every brand personally. I remained calm and professional, explaining the truth without mentioning her name. People respect maturity, not drama. Many apologized. Some returned immediately, and some were shocked to learn the lies they were fed. That alone weakened her influence. Next, I collected evidence. Screenshots, conversations, voice notes, anything that could support my story. I wasn't gathering them to expose her yet. I was gathering them because the time would come when her lies would collapse under the weight of her own words. But the most crucial part of my revenge was this: I focused on becoming the best version of myself. Nothing destroys a jealous person more than seeing the person they tried to break becoming unstoppable. And that was exactly what I prepared myself to do next. I didn't cut her off immediately. That would have warned her. Instead, I became distant, slowly, like a shadow quietly stepping back. Instead of long conversations, I responded with short, polite replies. Instead of sharing every detail of my life, I shared nothing. When she called, I told her I was busy. When she gossiped, I didn't engage. The less attention I gave her, the more restless she became. She started asking indirect questions. Are you upset? Did someone tell you something? You're changing. But I remained steady. Let her guess. Let her fear the unknown. People like her panic when they lose the control they think they have. She tried to provoke me in small ways, subtle insults, sarcastic jokes, passive-aggressive remarks. I ignored every one of them. Ignoring someone who thrives on drama is like starving a fire of oxygen. Slowly, she started losing her power. The energy she once used against me had nowhere to go, and that's when she made her biggest mistake. In her desperation to feel relevant again, she attempted to sabotage me one last time. She spread a new rumor, a bigger one, hoping it would get my attention. But she didn't know I already had eyes watching her, quietly reporting everything she said. That rumor was the final piece I needed to execute the next part of my revenge plan, a move so precise. She never saw it coming. It was almost amusing how predictable she became. The rumor she spread this time was about my finances. She told people I was in big trouble, that my business was failing, and that I was desperate. Conveniently, she spread this version just a week before my official launch event. She wanted people to doubt me again, but her timing was terrible because I had already built my foundation back. When the rumor reached me, I didn't get angry. I smiled. This was the moment I had been waiting for. The moment she exposed herself without any help from me. I let the rumor spread for a few days. I didn't defend myself. I didn't explain anything. I wanted her to become comfortable, confident, careless, and she did. She told so many people the same story that eventually her lies contradicted each other. Someone told me she said I was in debt, while another person said she claimed I had quit my business entirely. When lies clash, truth wins, and people started noticing her inconsistencies. Some even questioned her intentions. Meanwhile, I continued preparing for my event with calm determination. Every doubt she planted was about to be destroyed. Every lie she told was about to collapse. I wasn't going to expose her with words. I was going to expose her with success, loud, undeniable, and humiliating. The launch event became my battleground. I had spent weeks preparing for it, making sure everything was perfect. When the day arrived, the hall was brighter than any dream I once had. Guests filled the space, cameras clicked, and the energy was electric. I wore confidence like armor, and Yesira came to. She walked in with a smile so fake that anyone who looked closely could see the cracks. She wasn't there to support me. She was there to watch me fail. She thought the crowd would be small, the speeches awkward, the response weak. But the moment she stepped inside, her smile froze. The hall was full beyond full. People she claimed lost trust in me were standing in the front row, cheering before the event even started. The presentation went flawlessly. My work spoke louder than any rumor she spread. When the applause thundered across the stage, I watched her expression shift. Shock, confusion, panic, and then fear. She knew she had lost completely. But the real blow came afterward. Collaborators approached me, praising my growth and apologizing for believing fake stories. Some even mentioned her name directly, saying they were disappointed in her behavior. She stood in the corner, shrinking smaller and smaller, as if trying to disappear. I didn't say a single harsh word to her. That silence was louder than anything else. She wanted my downfall, but instead, she watched me rise in front of everyone she had lied to, and that was only the beginning of her downfall. The aftermath of the event was more powerful than the event itself. People talked not about me, but about her. They wondered why she spoke negatively about me when my work was clearly solid. They questioned her motives. They pieced together the inconsistencies in her stories. I didn't have to expose her. Her lies exposed her on their own. One of the collaborators she misled approached her directly and asked why she tried to sabotage my project. She panicked and denied everything. But denial means nothing when facts are against you. And there were plenty of facts now. Screenshots, witnesses, confessions. Even people who used to believe her started distancing themselves. Her reputation began to crumble quietly. She tried messaging me, pretending to be supportive, writing things like, "I knew you'd do great." But this time, I didn't reply. Not out of anger, but because she deserved the silence she once gave me. And then something unexpected happened. A mutual friend openly confronted her in a group gathering, asking why she was jealous of me. The room fell silent. For the first time, she was the one under the spotlight, cornered, uncomfortable, exposed. She tried to laugh it off, but the guilt showed on her face. Her empire of lies was sinking, and the best part, I didn't have to push a single brick. She destroyed herself trying to destroy me. That's the beauty of smart revenge. You don't attack. You revealed eventually she couldn't handle the growing silence around her. People weren't treating her the same. So she did what I knew she would do. She confronted me. She showed up at my place, acting emotional. Fake tears, dramatic sighs, the usual performance. She claimed everything was a misunderstanding. She pretended she had no idea why people were turning against her. She tried to hug me. I stepped back. She froze. That's when I spoke, not with anger, but with the calmest tone she had ever heard from me. I told her I knew everything. Every lie, every rumor, every sabotage attempt. I watched her face drain of color. She tried denying it, but I showed her the evidence. Screenshots, voice notes, messages, real proof. She stuttered, panicking, blaming others, saying she was influenced. But I saw the truth in her eyes. She wasn't sorry. She was scared. Scared because the mask she had worn for years had cracked. I didn't yell. I didn't insult her. I simply said, "You did all this because you couldn't stand my growth. But all you did was expose your own insecurities." She stood there speechless, unable to swallow her own actions. I ended the conversation with one final line. "This friendship ended the day you decided to betray it." And I closed the door. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was final. After that confrontation, everything changed. She tried calling, messaging, even showing up again, but I didn't give her access to my life anymore. My silence hit her harder than any shout ever could. Meanwhile, people around us grew distant from her. They didn't trust her anymore. Some openly told her they wanted nothing to do with someone who could betray a childhood friend so shamelessly. She became isolated. The groups she once controlled no longer welcomed her opinions. Her charm lost its shine, and slowly, she realized the weight of what she had done, not because she regretted hurting me, but because she regretted losing the attention and validation she always craved. One day, I heard from someone that she broke down in front of them, saying, "I don't know why everyone is turning against me." But she did. Deep down, she knew exactly what she had built, and exactly why it was collapsing. Betrayal is like a boomerang, always returns to its owner. Her downfall wasn't sudden. It was slow, painful, and inevitable. And I didn't even have to touch the wheel. Cutting her off was like removing a heavy stone from my chest. I felt lighter, stronger, and more focused than ever. I poured my energy into my work. I upgraded my brand, improved my designs, and collaborated with more passionate people. For the first time in years, I felt free. No more toxicity. No more silent competition. No more emotional drain. And as I grew, my success became steady and undeniable. The orders increased. My name started circulating among business groups. People appreciated my work. My growth became the loudest statement I could ever make. And despite everything, I wasn't bitter. I wasn't angry. I felt grateful that the betrayal forced me to see the truth. Sometimes, life removes people for you when you're too blinded by loyalty to walk away. And sometimes, betrayal becomes the exact push you need to become unstoppable. Months passed before she tried reaching out again. Her messages were different this time. Not defensive, not manipulative, just desperate. She apologized, saying she made mistakes, that she was going through a phase, that she didn't mean to hurt me. But her apology felt hollow, not because I hated her, but because I no longer cared. She apologized because she lost everyone, not because she realized what she did. I didn't reply. Closure doesn't always come from a conversation. Sometimes it comes from accepting that the chapter is over. My life kept moving forward. I traveled. I learned new skills. I built connections with genuinely supportive people. The more I grew, the more I realized something important. She never betrayed me because I was weak. She betrayed me because I was strong. My kindness didn't make me naive. Her jealousy made her cruel. And now, every achievement I earned became a reminder of how far I had come without her. Months later, she saw my success online again, a major collaboration announcement that went viral. People congratulated me publicly, and she saw it all. Someone told me she was shaken, asking, how did she grow so much? Simple. I removed the one person who was dragging me backward. Her regret wasn't emotional. It was eager. But watching her realize that losing me meant losing access to a future she could never control, that was a victory in itself. I didn't need revenge anymore. Her life had taught her the lesson I never had to spell out. Her fake friendships, her collapsing image, her loneliness, they were the consequences she created for herself. I moved on with peace, with confidence, with clarity. Losing her wasn't a loss. It was a rescue. Looking back, I learned something powerful. Not everyone who stands with you in childhood deserves a place in your adulthood. Time reveals hearts, jealousy reveals intentions, and betrayal reveals character. When someone tries to break you out of envy, don't crumble. Build, grow, rise. Your success becomes the revenge they never recover from. And the best part, you don't destroy them, they destroy themselves by trying to destroy you.